So the Halloween update for Pressure is finally out. The long-awaited Raveyard is here, and it is absolutely awesome. Oh man, I wonder what the community has to say about it. What? Yeah, people don't really like this update, and to be completely honest, it's for a pretty good reason. But the reason is also kind of unfortunate. So before I go over why the Raveyard isn't received very well by the community, I want to go over the Raveyard itself and the entire purpose of it. Before the video starts, please remember that everything I say in this video is completely my opinion. You can disagree with me, that's totally fine. I'm just here to give my honest thoughts on the whole thing. Anyways, let's begin. The Raveyard starts with the player arriving at... you'll never guess? The Raveyard. You're told that a mob of skeletons took over the graveyard to celebrate their annual October rave party, and your task is to crash it. You make your way over to the entrance of the Raveyard, only to realize that there are skeleton bouncers blocking your way from entering it because, you violate their dress code. But since this is your task and not going through with it will detonate your PDG, you completely ignore the average Scottish citizen and you go right past him. The bouncer then gets extremely mad and starts chasing you. This then leads you to the first part where you need to go through 20 rooms while being chased by him. Once you go through 20 rooms, the last door closes behind you and the bouncer gets locked out, banging on the door in the process and calling you a barnacle. You're then told to make your way towards the mosh pit, but the only way that takes you there is blocked, so you're forced to drop down this hole that leads you to a flooded underground area. You then realize that you're not alone in this place because there's a bloodthirsty skeleton centipede trying to eat you. You then have to go through 10 of these flooded rooms while trying to not get eaten by the centipede, using high grounds to your advantage. Once you make it past these 10 doors, you're forced to walk on a plank to reach the other side. But since your Roblox character is fat, you end up breaking it and you plummet 30 feet into the water below. Swimming back to the top, you discover that your only way back to the surface is through the catacombs. But once again, you're not alone. You need to navigate through 10 dark rooms in the catacombs while giant statues come to life and try to kill you. The statues only move if you don't look at them, so by shining your flashlight at them, they completely stop moving and you use that to your advantage to proceed through. Once you're done with that, you go up a staircase to find yourself back on the surface. You make your way over to the mosh pit when suddenly the bouncer comes back and reminds you that you violated the dress code and that you do not belong at this party. As you make your way through the area, another bouncer appears. So now you have 2 skeleton bouncers trying to give you a taste of their evil skeleton punch. Once you make your way through the obstacles on the way, you're told to go into a nearby church. You enter the church and close the door behind you to slow down the bouncers, but they still end up breaking in. You then have to sprint your way to the top of the church where the giant skeleton DJ tries to destroy the building to stop you. With the DJ somehow failing to stop you despite being this big, you successfully reach the top where you're tasked with pulling a lever that's linked directly to the Raveyard itself. I don't know why the lever is located on top of a church, but just whatever, go along with it. You pull the lever and the skeleton DJ vanishes into thin air. Along with the DJ, the entire Raveyard shuts down and you're informed that you've successfully shut down the party and that a helicopter is on its way to pick you up. And that's the Raveyard. Now, you might be wondering, what's so bad about this update? A special Halloween expedition where you're tasked with crashing an entire skeleton rave party. This is where we get to the flaws of the Raveyard. The whole reason the Raveyard even exists is so that Pressure can be in the Roblox Haunt event. This is where stuff gets a little confusing. Over on Twitter, Zeal said that this update was originally supposed to be for the Haunt, but they learned that the Haunt was a costume contest last minute, which is why they apparently had to change the deadline and pretty much rush the update, resulting in a lot of bugs on release. The thing is though, is that the Haunt isn't a costume contest. The whole costume contest thing is like a side quest for anyone who wants an exclusive item for the Haunt, but the Haunt itself is an event where you need to play a bunch of different games and complete special Halloween quests within those games to make progress on the event itself. And Pressure is no exception because the Raveyard is a part of the Haunt, which in turn results in a pretty confusing situation. Anyways, that's basically the reason why the Raveyard is even a thing. Now, why do people even hate it? The main reasons are that it's short and easy, very laggy and buggy, and just overall a mess. The devs did end up fixing the bugs and reducing the lag the next day, but people still didn't like the fact that it's basically free and not long like they expected. Which, to be fair, I also thought the same. So, what are my thoughts on this entire thing? Well, for one, I'm extremely impressed they were able to make all this in 40 days. That's genuinely impressive and that just shows how dedicated they are. And also, all the bugs are understandable. You can't release an entire new section to the game and not expect bugs to occur. It being short is, again, for people who are progressing through the Haunt so that they wouldn't struggle on it, which, again, makes complete sense. The only issue I have with it is that you can literally outrun the Skelepede 90% of the time and make it to the end, completely defeating the entire idea of using high grounds to your advantage. Also, the fact that rooms with high grounds have a good chance to just not appear at all. So your best option is to, again, just run straight into the next rooms and hope there's high ground, or just continue until you reach the end. I'd say a good fix for this is to make the skelipede much faster, making it so you can't just cheese your way through, and make rooms with high grounds appear constantly. Aside from that, every other part is amazing, and I absolutely love the statue part. It's scary, it's intense, and it actually feels like I'm playing a horror game, despite Pressure being a comedy game. So to the people who worked on this part, please make more stuff like this, because I genuinely think it's amazing and it was actually scary. Again, aside from the skelipede part, the rest of the graveyard is phenomenal, and it's insane how they managed to make all of this in 40 days. Anyways, that's basically what I wanted to talk about today. Just to kind of share my thoughts on the entire update and address the pros and cons of it. If you disagree with me in any way, that's completely fine, as once again, it is my opinion after all. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it though, so if you have any thoughts on it yourself, you can leave a comment down below. Also, I'm sorry for the lack of uploads. I completely shifted my focus on this update, but now that it's here, I'm finally back to making videos. Speaking of which, Pressure has a lot more plans, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Anyways, thank you for watching. Bye.